Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome here to Rebel Racing Network. We're back. Not a whole lot of time in between these races, and I love it because I get to keep the energy up, and we are here in the Bubba's Ball Tire Arca outlet, old tire, burnt rubber Arca series. And tonight at Dover International Raceway Speedway Corp, whatever they're calling it these days, but we're at Dover, one of my favorite tracks, and I'm joined in the booth by Daniel Cunningham. Daniel, how you feeling tonight?
Feeling good, Eddie. Just got done running that race at Darlington. Wish it would have played out a little bit different, but excited to be up here in the booth with you. This is one of my favorite tracks to watch on iRacing and to run, so definitely going to be a good one, especially with these cars tonight.
Yeah, Arca car, one of my favorites. You put one of my favorite cars and my favorite tracks together. It's like that. It's like just a good ice cream swirl. You go to one of those, those old eating places that you got around your area. They got that ice cream machine where you can hit the chocolate and the vanilla all at the same time, and it goes and swirls around in the cup. That's a lot what this is like. It's one of my favorites. So I'm getting ready to watch. Just the best of the best. But we got gridding going on right now, and I tell you what, I will take the top 10, and we're going to jump right into the grid and see where everybody's starting tonight. And this is the Jeff by Junior Arts starting grid, and we're going to give out the Chuck Peg Leg Pole Award winner to Blake Hopp. Wow, in the Oreo machine, in the Oreo 24, we're going to start on the front row, and starting outside front row is Travis Bieber. Row number 2, Andy Kurtz and Michael Nash. Row number 3, Jonah Colbert in that X-Side batteries. Woo! That is a good-looking scheme here tonight. Tyler Rice also in that Velocity Motorsports number 6 machine. Starting in the 7th is Michael Kostick. 8th, Aaron Adcock. Starting 9th, Jonathan Cofield and Brandon Wallace, and you can take us on from there. Daniel?
Next row, we've got Kyle Roberts and Mickey Isaac lining up 11th and 12th. Got Brett Bieber and Stephen McDonald in 13th and 14th. Got Brandon Pollock and Chris Reese starting in P15 and 16. And the next couple might be a little jumbled up because I'm definitely in the booth, not next to Chuck on the grid tonight. And rounding out the field is the other Cunningham that joined the session and didn't end up actually gridding. That's my cousin Jake.
Well, there you have it. Well, man, like we said earlier, just love this track car combo. We are in the playoffs, so got a lot of playoff drivers here tonight, and we'll go through those real quick. Jonathan Cofield, Andy Kurtz, Michael Kostick, Alan Nash, or Michael Nash, Brandon Wallace, Mickey Isaac, Steve McDonald, and Chuck Phelps, your top 8. So this is the first round of the round of 8. So we'll have 3 races, and 3 races to see who's going to move on to the championship 4. So this is the getting time. If you're going to go get a championship, this is the night to maybe lock yourself in to that championship 4. This could really make the next couple races a whole lot easier, because once you get into the round of 8, Daniel, it doesn't get any easier. It's only difficult from here on out. You've cut out maybe a couple drivers that kind of snuck their way in and just kind of showing up every once in a while. But these, when you get in the top 8, these are the drivers who've been here all season long and who are ready to fight for a championship.
Yeah, and I definitely think we're going to see a sense of urgency this week and next week at Phoenix, because the cutoff race for the Championship 4 is essentially a wild card. We're going to New Atlanta, super speedway race, drafting track. You just don't know what's going to happen there. So I think these guys are going to push to try to lock their way in and just take it completely out of the equation tonight.
Yeah, 100%. Tonight is the time to do it. You're right. And New Atlanta as the cutoff race, what a terrible thing to do. But I expect nothing less out of Brandon Wallace. But coming down to take the green flag, Blake Hopp going to lead us down to the green flag. You got Travis Bieber on the outside as we have 120 laps here tonight, and it's going to go by really quick as green flag is out here in the Rebels Arca Series. Blake Hopp out to a really good start. They start to single file down into turn 1. Dover, one of those tracks you can work the high side, but man, it's a lot like Darlington. You've got one line in the entry, couple lines in the middle, and one line off. You've got to get down single file on the entry and exit, and so far everybody's trying to get that done. And it's like a slot car. It is so fast. You've got to get the runs off the corner. If you miss the exits of these corners, it is detrimental, Daniel.
Yeah, and you can definitely run up high and you can make that line work, but you're going to burn the right front off of it doing that. So you can hang up there and battle for position, but smart move is going to be to try to get in line, save a little bit of tire, and try to have something for the end of the run.
Yeah, Andy Kurtz takes over the second spot early here as he is setting himself up. Andy Kurtz, the two tracks tonight, Darlington and Dover, I got to give a lot of if I got to pick a winner, Andy Kurtz is going to be my guy because he is so good at these type of tracks. But all these drivers are. Blake Hopp showing the way here early, and Jonah Colbert in that 31 machine. I know he can get it done here. Alan Nash, right? I mean, all these playoff drivers that are in the playoffs can get it done. We saw tonight that it's going to take a little bit of luck as well, getting those cautions whenever you if you get them at the right spot, staying out a little bit longer. Brandon Wallace able to get a second place finish in the Grand National Series, and that's a big deal if you can get that done, catch that caution right at the right time.
Yeah, it definitely bit me a little bit tonight at Darlington, but that's racing. Sometimes it works your way, sometimes it doesn't. Do have some pretty good side-by-side battle going on here around 4th, 5th, 6th. Michael Nash sliding back a little bit, currently fighting with Aaron Adcock, and got Tyler Rice right on their bumper too.
Yep, yeah, got the little side-by-side action here. Watching the battle for the lead as it's starting to heat up, but as well as those positions, 7th, 8th, and 9th, as, like you said, Aaron Adcock, Michael Nash falling back just a little bit, dropped 4 spots since the drop of the green flag, and he is probably just settling in. Alan Nash is really, really fast. He's always strong at the end of these races, probably just settling in, a very, very Michael Kostick type driver in my opinion, so definitely expect to see him move forward at the end of these runs.
Yeah, he always finds a way to be there at the end. Like you had mentioned with Kostick, it's a good analogy with those two. They got kind of similar driving styles. I haven't driven around Michael quite as much as I have with Kostick, but definitely a lot of similarities there and seem to be good on the long runs.
Yeah, they're just really good at managing their tires. On board with Andy Kurtz as we watch how they're getting around the track. You see the 24 doing a great job of getting the run off the corner. Andy Kurtz kind of running right around the bottom to start with. And you'll run that as the left side tires are still brand new. But you see he's really starting to bind up off the corner. And that's where the 24 is getting a better run right now. So Andy Kurtz, as the tires start to wear, you'll start to push up the track like the 24 is doing and cut down at the end of these corners and maximize the speed. I talk about this so much. You are so on the throttle and you drive so deep into the corner because these corners just give you a big old hug that the speed that you carry off the corner, you carry it all the way into the half. I mean, he's speed, and he's just starting to get woed up. So that speed you get off the corner goes for almost half a lap. So it's so important to get those runs off the corner.
Yeah, the one big thing that I see here with Andy versus the 24 is Andy can definitely wrap that bottom, it seems like, a little bit better than the 24, and that might help him out a lot near the end of the run, saving a little bit of tire. He's not quite having to put as much wheel into it and diamond it quite as much as the leader Blake is right now.
Yeah, early runs in Dover are always really, really fun, but man, I love it once the tires start to wear. That right front starts to get a little angry, it gets mad at you, and you got to start, drifting up the corner and really getting those runs off, lean on that throttle, really push it. And this car can really rotate. It's a lot of like the Xfinity car. You can really get that thing to rotate through the center. But yeah, Dover, just one of those tracks I'm always surprised. In real life, I believe it's just a one time a year track. Is it not, Daniel?
It is. They did have 2 dates up until 2021. They shifted the second one to Nashville Superspeedway, so we only get to come here once a year in real life, and they're actually there this weekend, so good timing for the series.
Yeah, I believe the devil was involved in that decision, as Nashville Superspeedway is just, I just can't. I don't like that. We got a battle for the lead, though. Man, Andy Kurtz got real close right there. I thought he was going to make a move. But yeah, similar racetrack, so I guess I understand why they took Dover off the schedule, the second race. So, but I just love this track. Of course, Jimmy Johnson's so dominant here at Dover. It takes a driver. That's a driver's track. It's a lot like Darlington, in my opinion. It takes a a lot of consistency and to be able to take care of your stuff.
Yeah, it definitely is. I've been to a couple races here in person. It's a really fun track to even go to and just watch a race at outside of iRacing in real life, and they always put on a good show too. So I'm kind of disappointed that they only go there once a year because it always does put on a good show.
Well, these guys putting on a good show right now. They are nose to tail till about 4th place. Jonathan Cofield kind of waiting in the wings back there as Andy Kurtz gets real wide off the corner. I thought he was going to grab that wall, but able to keep it going. So I think Andy might be struggling here with that right front. I've seen him go wide a couple times, so may already have issues with the tires. But going forward with Jonah Colbert as, he grabs the wall going down in the corner. But he has been all over the back bumper of the 114. You're going to see him get this run. This is the run that I'm talking about. That's textbook Dover as he is driving in a little bit higher than these guys, running that middle line. He doesn't have to steer as much, and then look at that straight drive off the corner, and you're seeing the benefits of that as he's able to get the run down the straightaway. If he keeps doing it, eventually that right front of these guys on the bottom is going to give up, and they're not going to be able to keep the speed off the corner, and Jonah's going to be able to drive right around them.
Yeah, I've been kind of watching Jonah back there just biding his time, and I swear I thought I heard the Jaws theme song playing there a little bit ago. It just seemed like he was just waiting for these guys to start getting into the run, burn their stuff up a little bit. Whenever the 31's out there, he's going to be a factor, and he's always going to look good doing it. I mean, we might have an early candidate for Paint of the Night with that X-Side scheme out there.
Well, I'm going to let you pick it. I usually let so far that's been sort of the thing, let the guest commentators pick it. But, man, if the 31 doesn't win it, it would be a travesty because that's one of my favorite schemes that he's ever made for this Arca car has been that 31 X-Side paint scheme. I don't think anybody does replicas like Jonah does. As Travis Bieber going to get in the wall right in front of him. The 114 takes a big shot as he takes a real big hit to that right front. You can see the right front tire actually sticking out of that 114, and that's bad news, Daniel. If you get into that right front, you need that thing, and if you're putting damage on it, that's bad. He is going to be struggling here at the end of this run if he's got some suspension damage.
Yeah, that right front hit, not only in Xfinity cars like we had on the last race, but with these cars too, that's almost a kiss of death with these things. You can kind of tail slap it a little bit, and you can drive through it, but, man, that right front hit, that's going to be brutal. He's going to be struggling with that. I wouldn't be surprised if he had to use his fat...
Oh, and he goes around!
Here too.
Yeah, oh, man, it looks like contact between him and maybe Aaron Adcock, the 23, as caution does come out for that. As, man, what in the world? We kind of missed it. I don't know what happened there, but we'll go back and check it out in just a second. Don't know if he got into the wall or what happened. No, okay, I'm going to show the replay in a second. Kinder Farm and Ranch Wreckage Rewind, and you can see off the corner the 23 going to give just a little small bump to the 114. It was kind of wild. I'm actually surprised that it did that. But you're going to see going down the straightaway, just maybe lifts the back tires, kind of like the way these cars drive at Talladega. You just really can't bump, and that may have been what happened there.
Yeah, I'm almost wondering if maybe he was trying to check up a little bit early going into that turn with that right front damage, Travis that is, and maybe Aaron just didn't anticipate that and thought he was going to drive it in the same way he had been. He might not have known that he got into the wall previously, but definitely unfortunate that it caught both of those guys up, and looks like Travis got the worst end of it there.
Yeah, I mean, another hit to that car, but I mean, did a good job. Didn't really take too much damage to that machine, so maybe he'll be all right. Pit lane wide open. Everybody coming down pit road. No surprise there as the battle off pit road. Blake Kopp able to hang on to that top spot as we were kind of talking about that replay. But, yeah, it looks like these cars, the way that they drive in these corners and on this track, it definitely, if you've seen any kind of restarts at this particular venue, you know that the front stretch, the back stretch can be very scary. as the tires really just want to light up down the straightaway on this concrete. And so you give that little bit of bump down the straightaway, it can go wrong pretty quick. So it looks like that's what happened.
Yeah, definitely. This might make things a little bit interesting on strategy for the rest of the race too, depending on how cautions fall and kind of green flag runs we get. In traditional Arca fashion, they've got 4 sets of tires in this race, 3 in the pits. They've only got 2 sets of tires left for the next just under 100 laps. And from when I was practicing earlier, I believe a fuel run is going to be right around 45 laps or so, maybe a little bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
So this might be shaping up to where you've got 2 sets of tires and you might have to burn both of them just to get through the rest of the race. So be interesting to see how that plays out if we get some more cautions here.
Yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. As Tyler Rice, first driver that didn't take tires, he comes down and takes fuel only. So Tyler Rice gains 4 spots there, or quite a few spots actually. But he is going to be on old tires, which is going to be tough here on this restart. But another driver, Brandon Wallace, also on older tires, just fuel only. So some guys taking some gambles here, hoping that we have some cautions that work out just right, and they can take that last set of tires and drive to the front at some point. So, I mean, taking tires this early, interesting that you brought that up. That could,
Yeah,
120 laps is a pretty long time.
yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. I mean, you figure you've got 4 sets of tires, so if you split it evenly across the race, you're talking 30 laps a set. But so I mean, we're right near that number, but I know what T. Rice and Bubba are hoping for right now is about another 15, 20 laps in a caution, and they're either going to be up a set of tires on everybody else, or they're going to have a huge tire advantage on everybody.
Yeah, it's those calls are always nerve-wracking because you're going to lose some spots here. These new tires are going to eat them alive, and so you're going to lose a lot of track position, and you're really banking your whole race on whether or not you get a late race caution and everybody's out of tires. So there's always it seems like a low chance of that, but we've seen it work out in the past, so that's why we race. We see it play out.
Absolutely. And getting ready to come back to green here with Tyler and Blake on the front row. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with that outside line with Tyler up there on those old tires like you'd mentioned.
Yeah, 31-8, going to have to be real careful. I'm getting on the radio right now saying, hey, guys, just be careful here on this restart. And Tyler Rice just does not get a good jump. I expect Jonah to go right down to the inside. He does, so he's going to take the inside line, should drive right by him. You see the corner speed in the middle of the corner. That's where those tires make a difference. And, man, Jonah gets a huge run. Actually gets a little bit loose there as you see Brandon Wallace there at the top of your screen going backwards as well. So, so far, so good. Made it through pretty clean, Tyler. Oh, and the 23 goes around. Aaron Adcock and the 8 of Michael Kostick get together, and we have another caution. Oh, and more wrecking going on. Good grief.
That is traditional Dover right there. I mean, track just becomes a parking lot, and you got guys piling in afterwards, just nowhere to go after that initial wreck takes place.
Yeah, well, let's go check it out on the Kinder Farm and Ranch Wreckage Rewind. It started with the 23 and the 8. Let's see what happened. Coming off the corner, and yeah, I mean, that's just a racing incident. Man, it's hard to say. Just coming off the corner, it's so tough to come off the corner low, and it looks like 23 was wanting to kind of push out maybe a little bit further on the exit of the corner. And the 8 was there. Unfortunately, he was there on the right rear quarter. Thought maybe he could clear him, but he was definitely not clear. Jonathan Cofield gets a piece of that. He goes spinning. And then some more drivers here at the end come flying in on the front stretch. So multiple drivers involved.
And it looks like last week's celebrity, or at least last race's rather, celebrity broadcaster Chuck got caught up in that too. So unfortunate to see him get spun out there. But looks like there's quite a few cars that got some pretty significant damage. Caustic's missing a fender, it looks like, or it's pushed in pretty good. So definitely going to be some guys using some fast repairs here.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's go back and see what happened to Chuck. We'll go on board with him. Wreck's already happening right in front of him. He's just trying to slow down and get. Oh, and Mickey Isaac's going to lock him up right in front. I can't tell if he locked him up or if he got tagged from maybe Travis Bieber. We'll kind of go back and see if we can get from a different camera view.
Yeah, definitely nothing Chuck could have done different on that one. Just a victim of circumstance.
Yeah. Mickey Isaac just trying to slow up, maybe a little bit too aggressive on the brake bias. You know, that's always the danger of cranking that brake bias down, trying to help the thing turn in the corner. As when you need to get on the brakes really quickly like that, the car just comes around. That looks like what happened to Mickey Isaac, unfortunately.
Yeah, there's a pretty good transition down there, too, from the bottom of the track down onto that flat portion. You could kind of see it there with Blake when he dipped down onto the apron coming across. So it could have just been a situation where got the left sides on the apron, the right sides on the racing surface, a little too much brake, and just comes around on him.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we're going to see those type of deals with Aaron Adcock and Michael Kostick a lot tonight as these guys racing side by side. It is just, it's tight. I said, you know, at the beginning of the race, there's one line really into the corner, maybe a couple lines in the middle, and then it tightens back up off that corner. There is only one line you can really run and run fast, and that is, you know, pretty much nose to tail. So these guys are all fighting for the same position off these corners. It is just so tight as that thing's like a rocket out of those corners. So you're going to see that happening a lot where guys fight for the same real estate.
Yeah, the other thing that makes it tough, too, is as we saw near the end of that first run before we had the first caution, even if you're faster than someone, it is kind of difficult to set up a pass here. So when you've got everybody bunched up on the restarts, you got to take advantage of what you got when you can get them. You know, we always want to say give and take, but at the same point, you're out here to compete. You got to take them when you can get them when they're right in front of you.
Yeah. We saw Jonah there. I thought his line was far superior than the two in front of him, or three in front of him, but he really wasn't able to get position on him just yet. So, yeah, I mean, that just echo your point. It's definitely difficult to pass. So these restarts are going to continue to be hectic if we get those cautions. It's something that, you know, I was listening to DBC the other day, and they talk about how this track is got potential to get clogged up. You know, wrecks happen on the front stretch and just nowhere to go. That's always something to be thinking about, especially if the wreck happens up front.
Yeah, absolutely. I was actually here at a race in 2008, and it was a spring race. We were about maybe 16, 17 laps in at the beginning of it, maybe a little bit farther than that, and there was a big wreck on the front straightaway that took out about a third of the field. So not even just an iRacing deal, even the professionals have that happen in real life.
You are absolutely right. So Jimmy Johnson do that 1 year.
Still the greatest save I've ever seen at Dover. People just don't spin out like that there. I know it was in qualifying, but you just don't spin out like that at Dover and not knock a wall down.
That's right. All right, getting ready to go green. Andy Kurtz, Blake Hopp side by side. Tyler Rice still hanging strong there in fourth place on those old tires. What can he do here? Jonah going to be in the catbird seat if I've ever seen one. Blake Hopp going to get a great jump. Jonah and Tyler actually didn't get a great start, but here comes Andy Kurtz. Andy got a great start.
Yeah, Andy got a great launch on that restart. He's on the outside. He's going to clear Blake coming off of turn 2 here.
Man.
That's just an absolute power move out of the 5 coming through 1 and 2 there.
Just incredible. He made it look easy, I think. Golly. Didn't even like he had to think about it too much. Let's watch that. We'll watch that in the picture-in-picture. I'm just going to overuse this all night long. If you got it, might as well use it. And we'll throw it up here, and we'll watch this restart from Andy Kurtz. He does a great job to clear Blake Hopp as they go through turns 1 and 2. You'll see on the restart gets a great jump. Maybe the 24. The 24 spun his tires maybe just a little bit and allowed Andy to get beside him. And as they go down in the corner, you're right. I mean, he just drove around him on the outside. Just an incredible move by Andy Kurtz.
we don't have his nickname in Discord as Wheelman for nothing.
That's right.
He
No
was
doubt.
earning it on that one, that's for sure.
Yep. Blake Hop getting it sorted back out as he tries to run down the 5 machine. 31 kind of lurking there right behind these two. As I look at lap times, the two up front definitely the fastest. Andy Kurtz running the fastest lap on the track and actually ran the fastest lap of the race that last time by. So Andy Kurtz laying them down after getting out front.
Yeah, you give Andy clean air at any racetrack, and it might be game over for the rest of these guys. He's going to be tough to beat.
Going back here to 4th place, Jonathan Cofield takes over that 4th spot. We saw him go spinning down the front stretch there on that last caution, and he is able to recover. It's not surprising, really, but I know he's ready to get up to the front and get up here and battle these guys, as he is a playoff driver trying to get down to the next round. All these guys want to lock themselves in if you can. So.
Yeah, and between his suspension last week and his wreck early on in this race, you know he's got to be driving up on that wheel right now. He wants to get back up there and show that he belongs up there with the rest of these guys and that he's got something for him. And he's fast in everything, but he's been fast in these Arca cars from day one since he joined the league. So I wouldn't be surprised by the end of the race to see him up there and be a factor in this thing for the win.
Yep, no doubt about it. I mean, he is definitely a favorite to win the Arca Series every season. So it's no surprise to see him in the mix, especially at the end of the season. Trying to look through the field, see if I can find any big movers right now. Brett Bieber, he's your biggest mover. He just got passed by Jonathan Cofield. He's up to 5th, but he has moved up 8 spots from where he started. Starting to fall back just a little bit. These guys behind him are really moving, but still having a great run. Cofield's been up 5 spots as well. So a lot of guys really making moves. It feels like a long run here. Feels like we might settle in. So who can save the most tires and get to only 50% fuel? That's something that we hadn't really talked about. That makes a difference on how these cars drive. When you cut the fuel load in half, the fuel cell's in the back, and you basically just cut weight off the back. And what that does, it makes the car tighter. And so if you got more fuel, you can really use that throttle more, rotate a little bit more through the corner. But with it half fuel load, this car is going to continue to get tight at the end of the run. So, I think it's going to take a special person to save the tires in the long run here.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be tough. And I know you were looking for the movers earlier, the comers through the field. I'm looking at the goers right now. Tyler and Brandon, that tire strategy, they got to be praying for a caution right now. Tyler's in P14, Brandon's in P17, running pretty well off pace right now too. So they're definitely hoping for a caution at this point, try to make this tire strategy work out in their favor.
Yeah, they're second a lap off of the leader's time. So you're right. It is going to be tough as we're on board with Jonah Colbert as he is continuing to, he looks fast, man. He is, so far out of what I've seen, Blake Hop has looked pretty neutral, but Jonah has it just seems to me has the right mix of driving this track, hitting the right marks over and over again. If he can make a pass, that seems to be the toughest thing as the runs go on, but we'll see how aggressive he's on the tires. I'm excited to see who can maybe save a little bit of tire and work their way to the front. But Jonah looking strong right now.
Yeah, the other thing with Jonah too, there was a certain Roush driver that drove an X-Side car that was really good here back in the day too. So him rocking that X-Side scheme's got to be worth a couple extra tenths tonight somewhere along the line. And I know we were talking about best paint scheme earlier, and I don't think I got to officially award it because we had that first wreck that broke out, but Jonah Colbert's definitely going to be our winner of the Jeff By Jr. Best Paint Scheme of the night. That thing is just beautiful out there on the track. Good looking scheme, the font matches for the numbers. He just, as he does with all his paint schemes, he just knocked that thing out of the park.
Yeah, it's got the Taurus on there. The Taurus looks so good. Yeah, I can't argue. I've seen some schemes like it. I've seen some people try to do a scheme that I think somebody even kind of stole this paint at one point. It's so good. somebody stole it and tried to make it their own. But that lightning on the side is just incredible. You just don't see it often done that well. So I think you're absolutely right on this call. It's going to be hard to beat. So he's going to win Best Paint of the Night. But I know he'd love to win the Race of the Night, as he is still trying to keep up with Blake Hopp and Andy Kurtz, as Jonah a couple tenths slower last lap. Blake Hopp really starting to pull back up on that number 5 machine.
Yeah, it looks like Blake's starting to reel him back in a little bit. Don't know if maybe Andy's trying to save a little bit, or maybe he is struggling with the balance of the car a little bit. Knowing Andy the way he drives, I'd be surprised if he was struggling with it, though. He's probably just trying to maintain right now, and especially with track position being so important. I mean, you're really going to have to almost do what he did on that initial restart, really get a run on someone and hope you can kind of hang it in on the outside to keep their momentum down coming off the next turn.
Yeah, I don't know too much about Blake Hopp, but I mean, so far I've been really impressed. Starting up front, getting out early, leading laps, controlling the race. He got past there on the restart, maybe just sleeping a little bit, didn't expect it. But here at the end of this, you know, we're through a little bit, we're about 23 laps into this run, and you know, he's already looking pretty dang good on the long run. So 27 laps on these tires, closing in on 30. Do we see anybody hit pit road anytime soon, Daniel, you think?
It's going to be interesting because you really can't come any earlier, to be honest. With how that first caution fell, there was a little under 100 laps to go. I think we had about 95 laps to go after that first caution when we went back green. Fuel run, to the best of my knowledge, I might be off a little bit, was somewhere around 45, maybe just a shade under 50 laps. So I think these guys might have to push it as far as they can possibly go, and maybe even save a little bit to be able to make this a one-stop race, because you're definitely not going to be able to, if somebody can make it on one stop from where we had that the first restart, that's going to be the race winning move right there. You're not going to be able to two-stop and make that time up.
Yeah, well, so with that being the case, this is the most important run of the race right now. This is where you're going to make, you're going to get the win. Is you got to manage this particular run here. And it looks like cautions are going to start to lean more towards green flag racing, and so got to take care of your stuff here. We may have to run long, so you want to make sure you got the tires there at the end. Blake's just getting right to his back bumper, just not able to really break that bubble. It seems like he is so close, but just not able to really push any closer at the moment.
Yeah, it really seems like once you get that close that you just kind of get a little bit of aero push, get a little bit tight behind them. Can't quite keep the nose where you need it to. See him going high here, trying to diamond, come down a little bit on exit and try to get that run on him. So it looks like he's trying to set a pass up the same way that we saw Jonah trying to set one up on that first run. I mean, he's right there behind Andy. Andy makes one little mistake here, and Blake's going to be all over him for the lead.
Yeah, he's all over him right now. You're absolutely right, man. He got a nice run through there. He's going to look down at the inside. I wonder if that 50% fuel is playing a big part in the way this race is going. I remember this car being a lot easier to rotate on exit. So a little surprising to see it be so difficult to pass. I just wonder if that lighter fuel load is the reason. Just so tight here, especially on a long run.
I think it definitely is. We were actually talking about that a little bit earlier in a practice session today, that for whatever reason, it seems like the next gen and the Xfinity car, when you cut the fuel in it, it actually frees them up a little bit. But with the trucks and the Arca cars, it seems like when you run that reduced fuel, it tends to make it go a little bit tighter instead. So it's definitely something these guys are going to have to manage. If it's going to trend tight anyway, and if you burn the right front off of it early on here, you're definitely going to be hurting long into this run.
Well, let's keep tabs on the lead here, and then let's go through the field, though, and see where everybody's at, and see if we can talk about a few folks, as I'm trying to make sure my camera is right. I don't know what's going on here. All right, let's go through the field. We talked about Jonah already. He is falling back now to about 2 seconds behind the lead, but has made up 2 spots since the start of the race. Just trying to maintain here on this long run. Michael Kostick right behind him in 4th has also been on the move, made up 3 spots. He is heading in the right direction along with his teammate. Now his teammate's falling back now. He's getting passed by Michael Nash. So I wonder, you talked about saving fuel, trying to make it on one more stop. I wonder if we're seeing guys doing that because Cofield is falling back pretty quickly.
Yeah.
As we move on through, Brett Bieber in 7th place. He's gained 6 spots since the start of the race. He is just settling in 7th place, but right behind him, man, you got a gaggle of cars. You got Chris Reese, who's moved up 8 spots, but he looks like he is fighting off Kyle Roberts and Brandon Pollock. This is a great battle for 8th, 9th, and 10th. These two, Brandon Pollock, Kyle Roberts, side by side.
Yeah, this is definitely the battle right now to watch with Pollock and Roberts. They've been, all 3 of these guys, Reese has kind of separated a little bit here, but all 3 of these guys kind of been going at it a little bit here lately. So if there's people saving fuel, it sure ain't in this part of the field.
Yeah. I mean, these guys doing a great job, though. We've already talked about it ad nauseum about how difficult it is to go side by side here, but it looks like Brandon Pollock able to take that position. Travis Bieber in 11th. He has dropped 9 spots since the start of the green flag. Had some issues and has gotten that fast repair, got that right front pushed back in. It was hanging out earlier, and he is trying to get himself back into the mix. Mickey Isaac, saw him spinning down the front straightaway. He is trying to recover as well. Aaron Adcock running in 13th. Steve McDonald, haven't really talked too much about Steve. I don't know if he's struggling. He started 14th. He's still running 14th. So Steve may just be having trouble with this track. He's running competitive lap times, just not able to get the track position. In 15th is Chuck. Got in that accident earlier, but continuing to soldier on. And then about 5 seconds back, you've got your guys who stayed out, and you kind of touched on this earlier. These guys stayed out on their tires, and they are in danger of going a lap down here, Daniel, as Brandon Wallace is about 2 seconds back from Tyler Rice, and we'll look behind him if we can, and you can see there's that white and blue car coming right behind him, just a straightaway back. So Brandon Wallace in danger here of going a lap down.
Yeah, this was definitely a worst-case scenario for those 2 guys. They were definitely banking on, let's run about 15, 20 laps or so, have another caution, and everything would have worked out in their favor one way or another, whether they had the on-track tire advantage or the tire sets left. So this is pretty much nightmare scenario for those 2 guys. They don't get a caution here soon. They're probably going to have to try to do something a little bit different with their strategy the rest of the way.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Up front, it's still nose to tail for these 2 drivers, as Blake Hopp not able to really do anything with Andy Kurt, still holding on to that. Oh, as he's coming down pit road, here comes Blake. Blake Hopp going to open the pit road, and I would expect to see others join. Jonah Colbert coming down pit road as well, so pit road's open, Daniel.
Yeah, that definitely answers my question on if these guys are going to try to one-stop it the rest of the way, because from here, you've still got about 52 laps left. That's going to be close. We got Andy hitting pit road now. I don't know if these guys are going to be able to make it from here. That's pretty much right on the money for a fuel run. And the other thing that I'm looking at here is this is probably the most difficult pit road to enter in all of iRacing. They talk about it in real life too. So that's going to be a big challenge here too for these guys. Is got no fuel in the car, burnout tires, and just, hoping that you don't make a mistake getting on the pit road and take out those barrels down there.
Yeah. Blake Hopp comes off pit road along with Jonah Colbert. That's going to give the lead to Michael Kostick, who brings the number 8 Jack Daniels Chevrolet down pit road for his stop. Pretty much, if you stay out here, you're really hoping that it goes green all the way in, maybe try to make it on fuel. We'll see if anybody's able to make that happen. I just wonder if tire difference is not going to be a big enough delta to maybe make a difference. We're only making 24-second laps, and new tires is good for about a second and a half. So that's going to be tough if you try to stretch the fuel to one more stop. I think you could probably come down pit road and make up the time. So be interested to see who maybe tries to make that happen, as currently Chris Reese claims the lead as he still has yet to make his pit stop. He's been out on the track for 48 laps on his tires.
Yeah, so from here, he should definitely, if this thing goes green to the end, I mean, I know we had a couple of caution laps in there, but currently we're sitting about 48 laps to go, so, you know, he should be good to go to the end. It's going to be interesting to see how these strategies play out, see if some of these guys that have been up front, like Blake and Kostick and Andy, see if all of those guys can make it, and see how things shake out after these pit stops.
Yeah, and it really just depends on whether or not the time difference. You know, I mean, if you stay out too long and you see Chris Reese come down pit road now, you know, that time difference could really be. You know, there's sometimes one stop will work really well, and sometimes the tire difference and the lapped, how long it takes to get around the track, it's just not worth it. It's worth it to have the tires and the speed. So I'm excited to see if it plays out that way.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. And just looking at the running order right now, from what I can see, it looks like when everything cycles back around that Blake has actually leapfrogged Andy for the lead here. So it's like by him coming in that one lap early, he was able to undercut him and get that position on him.
Yeah, that makes a huge difference to have that that extra. I mean, that first lap out, especially after that long of a run. I mean, we're talking 45 laps on those tires. You come back out, and those left sides are just grabbing that apron. I mean, it's a huge advantage. But man, I tell you, Andy Kurt's not letting him get away though. He's running him back down.
Yeah, Andy's definitely keeping him in his crosshairs here and keeping him close by. So, you know, if Blake makes any kind of mistake or anything like that, Andy's definitely going to be there to capitalize. Seems like the track position is king right now. Him and Jonah and Andy, they're all pretty even together. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out and see if, you know, if it does come down. It seems like they've been the class of the field. Jonah's been good too, but it's been just a little bit behind Andy and Blake so far. So we'll see what happens here with this last run that we're on.
Yeah, as we watch the leader, Chuck Phelps, come down pit road. He didn't play around at all. He just came right down on the apron on the backstretch and came around to get down on this pit road. He wasn't playing around with it, so he gives up the lead, and that will cycle the race around to the number 24 of Blake Hopp after those green flag pit stops. So interesting to see how this all plays out, man. We've got quite a few laps to go, and be honest, it feels like we've been racing for a while. We've been live for just about 45 minutes, and man, we still have quite a bit of laps left to go, 40 to be exact, 43. So still a long way to go in this thing.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the longer races, considering the track that we're running, that we've had so far. And it seems like with our all-knowing and all-powerful schedule maker that we've got, that he intentionally made these last few races a little bit longer, test these guys a little bit more. And he's definitely not afraid to put the coals to the drivers, that's for sure.
Well, and drivers are going to whine and complain no matter what you do. So, you know, you're going to put them in a box no matter what. Man, look at this right here as Andy Kurtz gets right to the back bumper of the 24 as he's trying to get around Mickey Isaac. Actually get held up. I don't know if he got held up or just wasn't ready for Mickey to come out and be that fast. I think he was thinking he was going to drive right around him, but wasn't able to. But that just brought the 5 car right to his back bumper. So Andy Kurtz is there for the lead.
Yeah, absolutely. And Mickey is he's still on the lead lap. He's at the tail end of the lead lap after that pit stop. So he's fighting for his, you know, opportunity to stay on the lead lap and keep himself in this race too. And on top of that, he's got a little bit of a tire advantage on these two guys here because he did stop so much later. So this isn't going to be an easy pass for Blake or Andy. If he gets around Blake, they're definitely going to have to work to get around Mickey. He might be playing a little Ryan Newman role here.
Yeah, and I don't blame him one bit. That caution comes out, it's a whole lot different being right there and being right. Yeah, you might get the lucky dog, but that still comes with some negative side effects. Is, man, Andy Kurtz is going to look down to the inside, going to maybe take a dive down in the corner. Blake really drives down in the corner. Let's see if the 5 can make it work. Gets right to that left rear corner off the turn, not able to get there just yet. But Andy getting aggressive here, knowing that track position is going to mean everything as these tires start to wear out. If you can get that pass, you need to go ahead and get it done. It's only going to get harder and harder.
Yeah, Andy's doing exactly what he needs to do here. He knows that those two have been class of the field, head and shoulders above everybody else so far, and they've been really evenly matched so far. He knows he's got an opportunity. He smells that blood in the water. He's got to try to take it and get around him here.
Oh, he actually checks up. Blake Hopp does a little bit into that corner, and if that checkup would have happened a little bit later, that 5 would have drove right by him. He had to really kind of clogged up the exit of that corner. He's going to get the run here, though. He's got a nice run down the back straightaway. He is there. Can he make it stick?
Oh, he's going to have to pull a slider on him here, but I think he's going to be able to get him off of turn 4 coming back to the start-finish line.
He did. Andy Kurtz up to the lead, showing his strength as he takes the lead here with about 35 laps to go. So, we're just not sure. Can these folks make it on fuel? I think we've run about 16 laps. We saw folks hit around lap 48 on their tires, so that's pretty close, Daniel.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really close, and I can tell you right now that Andy is definitely not saving fuel at this point. He has started to check out from the 24 car, so if I'm Andy right now, I'm going to try to build that lead up a little bit and then just try to maintain it, maybe save a little bit in case we do get a little caution later on and goes into green-white checker. I mean, they'll still come down and take tires at that point, but just to build yourself a little bit of a cushion. Andy's running about, looks like 2 to 3 tenths a lap faster than Blake right now, so I'm really wondering if Blake might actually be saving a little bit here, trying to stretch it to the end.
Yeah, he's actually coming down pit road right now as I swapped on board to see if he's saving. He knows he can't make it, so he gets past to the lead, and he's coming down pit road. So Blake Hopp gives up the second place position to come on down pit road. So that is pretty telling that some of these guys are going to be pretty close on fuel. Let's go on board with Jonah, and maybe we can see if there's any kind of saving going on with the 31 machine.
I don't know. Based off of his corner entry there, just looking at his tack, it doesn't look like he's saving a whole lot right now.
Yeah, not Jonah pretty good at saving. I know he can clutch it into the corner. He does a really good job when it comes down to fuel saving when he needs to. So definitely it doesn't seem to be saving fuel. So yeah, interesting. Gonna be fun to see how this all works out as Cossack's starting to run him down now.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's so much to keep an eye on here, too, at this point. We know that there's some guys, if everybody is close on fuel, we know there's some guys like Brandon Pollock, Mickey Isaac, Christopher Reese was another one that did stretch it a little bit farther on that last run. So it's going to be interesting here watching what Blake does, even just in relation to those guys, because if everybody else runs out, that might be the battle for the win. He just needs to get around them. He doesn't necessarily need to catch Andy back again, depending on what their strategies are here.
Right. Well, the best thing about Blake Hopp's situation right now is that he can just go as hard as he possibly can. He doesn't have to worry about anything. If he gets caught by caution, his race is over. If he gets, if anything happens other than going to green to the end, he's in trouble. But he doesn't really have to save or do anything. He just goes, put the pressure on these guys, make them think about it, and he can just kind of pin the ears back and just go. He's 2 laps down now. He's got to get up to Andy Kurtz and get back 1 lap down, but that is a lot of time to make up. But once they cycle through, if Andy Kurtz does have to come down pit road, I mean, Blake is making a ton of time up on these guys right now.
Yeah, he's definitely making a lot of time here. And the other thing I like, too, about the position that Blake's in, he's not racing for points. He's not a playoff driver. Go full send and try something different. If you don't think you can beat him heads up doing what he's doing at that point, you know, you got absolutely nothing to lose if you're Blake. Go out there, try something different. Just makes me think of the old DW saying, if you follow the leader, you're going to follow the leader. So take a little gamble. You never know what might work out for you.
That's right. You know, if you're not the lead dog, man, the view never changes. So got to do something different. But you saw the difference in 25 lap tires versus Blake's brand new tires. I mean, just drove around those guys like they're sitting still. So tire wear, a big difference. And as we watch Blake slice and dice through the field, and looks like Jonathan Cofield brings the 58 machine down pit road, so he cannot make it. Man, it is going to be crazy to see how this thing ends up.
And I'm looking at Andy's lap times right now. I know with the tire fall off, you know, there is going to be some pretty substantial slowing here over the run. But Andy's last handful of laps, he was in the 2460s, 2470s, just ran a 2449 on that last lap. But it definitely seems like he's saving a little bit. I mean, if he knows that he can't make it to the end, he would have already pitted by now. So we've definitely got two completely different strategies playing out here. That's going to be interesting to see which one's the faster one.
Yeah, it's hard to say because everybody's lap time, you look on the tower there, everybody's lap time is pretty much, you know, in the same, you know, zip code. And I don't see any fuel saving. Yeah, you can lift a little bit more and let it roll a little bit more, but yeah, you're right. I mean, I feel like if I couldn't make it on fuel, it looks like Michael Costa's coming down pit road, so he definitely can't make it. He brings the 8 machine down, so yeah, I think these guys are all going to have to pit. So I'm surprised to see them stay out a little bit longer, but yeah, I think these guys are going to all have to come down pit road.
Yeah, and if they do all have to come down pit road, this might play right into somebody like Chris Reese's hands. I mean, we had already touched on it a little bit that he was one of the last ones to pit on that last green cycle. If he did a little bit better job saving, I mean, he might be able to pull a Brandon Wallace and steal one on fuel strategy, as Andy's actually coming to pit road now.
Andy Kurtz gives up the lead, and I tell you what, Blake Hopp going to be happy, thrilled as all get out to see this, as he's going to have the lead, no doubt about it. He's going to come out with a massive lead. He's been out on the track for about 10 laps now, and we've already talked about it. It's about a second and a half sometimes from old tires to new tires. So he is going to cycle as he passes Andy Kurtz sitting on pit road. So I mean, he's going to put. He's already got 3 seconds on Andy. It's going to be even more. So Blake Hopp pitting early is going to pay dividends. Now he is going to have 11 lap older tires, so he's going to have to really get with it, as they're going to be able to kind of run him back down. But yeah, so far he's scooting.
He's going to have an absolutely huge lead over Andy. They were maybe about a second apart when he came down pit road. And you had even mentioned it when Blake unlapped himself for one of his 2 that he was down. I mean, he made Andy look like he was sitting still when he went by him. Just the difference in speeds at that point is just huge. So, you know, I like what some of these guys are doing. If you're Jonah, Chris Reese, I mean, you're not a playoff driver. You might as well stay out there and stretch it and see what you can get. And, you know, especially some of these guys that did pit a little bit later, maybe they can still make it. It's going to be fun to see what happens here. I'm glad I'm actually up in the booth for this one instead of in the car, because it's a lot more fun watching this than it would be stress trying to figure out what to do with the pit strategy.
Yeah. Andy Kurtz came out about 5.5 seconds back. He's already made up a ton of time. You can see about 6/10, maybe 5/10 a lap faster than Andy Kurtz is right now over Blake Hopp, just with 11 lap fresher tires. So he's going to be able to run him down. Is he going to have enough time? He's got to do it in 15 laps. But the real question is, can these guys that are still out on the track, can they make it on fuel? That is the big question here at the moment. Jonah Colbert is currently your leader, and he has been out on the track for 36 laps. So can he make it? I would imagine if he, like you said earlier, if he couldn't make it, he would already be down on pit road. So it may be one of those situations where maybe you come down pit road, take a splash of fuel or something like that, or hoping for a caution. But if he can't make it, you would think he would have come down already.
Yeah, definitely. If you come down and take a splash at this point, you're going to lose the lead and you're going to be at a tire disadvantage. So I think Jonah's strategy at this point is run this thing until it's dry, and it's either going to make it or it's not. He's in it to win. He's got absolutely nothing to lose. So I'm telling you right now, unless we get a caution, I do not think we're going to see the 31 back down pit road. And if we do, he's going to be coasting there out of fuel.
Yeah, you see him letting guys go right here. He's definitely being easy on it. Now, kind of give you an idea of where everybody is on their stint. Jonah's been on the track for 39 laps. Christopher Reese has been on the track, been on this run for 34. Adcock for 35, and then Brandon Pollock, Mickey Isaac, 32 and 30. So they can most definitely make it. So. I'm excited to see how this is going to play out. Jonah just doesn't seem to be saving. That's the only thing about it. You would think that at some point he's going to start clutching it or something, but he's just not. So, I'm very, very interested to see how this thing's going to end up. There's only 12 laps to go.
Well, one thing I've definitely learned from my time on JC Motorsports is don't doubt the driver of the 31. My strategies are usually follow the 31, and it works out pretty good for me most of the time. So. If he thinks he can make it, I mean, I'm believing in that driver 31 right now.
Yeah, you can't save too much. So if he's close, he's got to be careful because Christopher Reese is moving pretty quickly, about a 2/10 faster than Jonah that last lap. So Jonah's going to have to manage that gap along with managing the fuel. So if Jonah can make it, Chris can definitely make it. And he is right there. So he's got about a 11 second lead over third place Brandon Pollock. So he got a little bit of cushion there, but he does not have the cushion to really let off and let Reese catch him. Now, going back here, Andy Kurtz has, assuming, let's say they don't make it on fuel, Andy Kurtz was able to get around Blake Hopp. So Andy Kurt's doing a good job of slicing and dicing the field, and he's able to get around that 24 machine. So if they cycle back around, Andy Kurtz will be the leader. He's currently in 7th place.
Well, Eddie, there's the answer to our question. Jonah is on pit road.
There you go. Well, we know that he could make it. Now, there's only 9 laps to go, and we talked about the difference in these drivers. I mean, there's some guys, Brandon Pollock, can he make it? It's going to be close.
We might have somebody just go up here and steal one from these boys today, because I'm reasonably certain that Chris Reese and Brandon Pollock can make it on fuel from here to the end. Reese has got almost an 8-second lead right now, and there's only a handful of laps to go. I mean, he could almost run out on the last lap, 3 and 4, and just coast back. And he was one of the last ones to pit on that run. So we'll see how this plays out here and see if him or Brandon Pollock can make it back around for this. And Mickey Isaac's another one that I'm watching too, that I believe he actually pitted after Chris Reese on that last run.
Well, Aaron Adcock comes down pit road. He gives up 3rd position, so it is super, super close. And, yeah, I mean, Christopher Reese is way off the pace. He is really, really coasting that thing. He's not clutching it or anything, but he's definitely not in a hurry to get back on the throttle. Now, if let's say Reese runs out or has to pit with about 3 to 4 laps to go, Brandon Pollock may be able to make it. He's got 3 laps on Chris Reese. So, here Chris Reese is clutching it as we're on board right now. You can see that tack go all the way down to the 3,000 RPM mark. So Chris Reese very, very close to starting to clutch it here at the end. I don't know about you, Daniel, but it feels like it may be a little bit too late to start clutching. What do you think?
Oh, it's going to be close. I mean, if he's clutching it at this point, then he's probably watching that fuel in the black box more than anything else at this point. And he knows it don't matter if you win it by 6 seconds like he's got now or how much you win it by. You don't even have to have fuel in the car at the end. I mean, I stole an Arca win that way at Talladega. So, you can run out on the last lap and just coast back. That's all you got to do. So,
yeah,
he's definitely playing that right now.
Brandon Pollock's making up about 4/10 a lap. I mean, it's not going to be enough, but the big question is, does Reese have enough fuel, man? That is the question. We know Brandon Pollock does, so if Reese doesn't make it, Pollock's going to make it because Pollock's good from here. Because if Reese runs out from any point from here on, Pollock's got enough fuel, so it is down to Christopher Reese here with 3 laps to go. He's got 3.5 to make it around. Does he have enough fuel to do it? He is dropping like a rock right now. Super, super slow trying to make it to the end.
And Eddie, I don't believe that these guys that did pit, Andy Kurt's sitting P4 right now out of the guys that have pitted. He's still about 14 seconds back. I don't see any way possible that he's getting this one without a caution or without these guys running out. He's been tracking them down pretty quickly, but there's just not enough time left.
Yeah, he is. He's going to get Michael Kostick or Mickey Isaac for sure. He drives around the outside. He is catching them, but it's going to take a miracle for him to get back up there. But man, Brandon Pollock is starting to run down as Christopher Reese still clutching it. Does he have enough fuel? I mean,
if I'm Brandon Pollock, I am full send right now
because 100%.
I want to put the pressure on. I want to make him use more fuel than he wants to use and use that loud pedal more than he wants right now.
Well, looking out the front, looking out the front, Brandon Pollock, he could see he's saving it. Oh, and Chris Reese is out. Chris Reese is out of fuel. The 62 goes down to the bottom. White flag is out. Here goes Brandon Pollock on the last lap, takes the lead. We know he's got enough fuel. Chris Reese is out of fuel coming down the backstretch. Strategy call, unbelievable. Brandon Pollock in turn 3 and 4. He's got 6.5 seconds back to Andy Kurtz off of turn number 4. And Brandon Pollock saves enough fuel to win here at Dover. Wow.
Just absolutely amazing to be able to save that and stretch it like that and play the strategy 100% dead on. I mean, hats off to Brandon on that one.
Yeah, we watched Christopher Reese coast down on pit road, just a lap short. We saw him clutching it, and like I said, I think if you're clutching it with 5 laps to go, you're just a little bit too late. And man, congratulations to Brandon Pollock. Snookered him today, Daniel.
Yeah, he absolutely played that one to a T. The only driver that I can see that actually was able to stretch it, I believe Chuck may have been able to make it and finish P9, but he was the only one that was able to play it that way, and it looks like Mickey in P4 as well was able to make it back.
Well, Kieran Church in chat said, man, a good fuel strategy race is cool to see once in a while, and I agree. It is so cool to see somebody do the strategy the right way and come away with the victory. That is always fun to watch. So, man, congratulations again to Brandon Pollock, who is going to, man, get that win tonight. Wow, what? That is awesome. That's awesome.
That's just all you can say about it. I'm sitting here, I'm absolutely like tickled watching this race. That was great. And like I mentioned earlier, I'm glad that I was up here in the booth for this one and not having to stress over the strategy and when to pit and how to save. And it's a lot more fun up here than it is down there sometimes. Just a lot less stress up here.
There's no doubt the Hard Luck Award winner is going to go to Chris Reese, who's going to come home in 10th place. But just ran out 1 lap short. So, Christopher Reese, your No Neck Fast Sprayer Hard Luck Award winner. But let's go ahead and get into the post-race show, and let's get Brandon Pollock up here. Let's talk to him. I cannot wait to hear how excited he is in that double aught 1 Pennzoil machine. Brandon, this Eddie and Daniel in the booth. You got a copy?
Copy.
Man, well, I know you don't know what to do with your hands, but what a fantastic strategy. We were watching there, just couldn't decide, can these guys make it? Can they not? We just were on the edge of our seats, and we watched, and Chris Reese there with about 8 laps to go starts clutching it, and you start catching him just ever so slightly and able to get him on the last lap. Man, congratulations on your win here in the Arca Series, man. How you feel, and tell me how you did it.
Man, it's amazing. I honestly don't know how I was able to finally pull it off. Finally. I took a late pit with tires, and I figured, if I saved just enough and I stretched the first stint just enough that I'd have maybe just enough to finish the rest of the race. And so I was saving the whole time. And I had no clue that I would end up making it to the end and being the winner. Like, that's just, I never would have guessed it.
Well, what was your thought, man? Is you're seeing you're catching Reese? You know he's close, and then you see him pull off the track down the straightaway, back straight, coming to the white flag. What was your thought as you see him pull off the track, and you know, hey, I'm gonna win this thing?
The first thing I did is look down at my fuel, like, am I gonna make it?
Well, with that
but
said, how close were you?
um, I had just enough to do like one donut when I came to the line, and then the truck shut down or the car shut down. So
Wow. Well, incredible race, man. Just a great strategy call. Kieran Church cheering you on in chat, saying it's nice to see a fuel strategy race every once in a while. And man, you're able to get it done. Congratulations on the win, man. Uh, you know, I don't have any other questions to ask you. I'm blown away by that finish. That was so much fun to watch. Not a playoffs driver, but to be able to get that win in the playoff, how does that feel?
feels great. Kind of wished I'd have done it earlier in the season.
Well, congratulations again, as always, man. Who you got to thank? Any sponsor shout outs?
uh, well, I'm wearing the VR right now, so I can't even read anything. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. So, man, I apologize if I miss anybody.
Well, congratulations again. Brandon Pollock, your winner here tonight in the Arca Series at Dover. Just a fantastic run at the end, saving that fuel and be able to get that win. Congratulations again, Brandon.
Have a good night.
My man doesn't know what to do with his hands. He needs to win more often, and he can get some more experience. But every interview I've ever had has been like that. He's like, I don't know what to say. So, congratulations to Brandon Pollock, man. Awesome finish. Let's bring in your second place finisher, and I think Daniel Cunningham's caught up with Andy down on pit road.
Hey, Andy, this is Eddie and Daniel up in the booth. You got us?
What's up, guys? Gotcha.
Well, dude, you had an absolutely phenomenal run tonight. I know you came up one position short, but watching those battles with you and Blake and Jonah up there, I mean, y'all were putting on a show for us, and you put on a couple moves that show why you've got the nickname Wheelman here in Discord. So, tell us a little bit about your race, what it was like battling with Blake and Jonah and those guys up there, and just go ahead and talk to us about it a little bit.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, I definitely learned a lot from Blake on that first run. I couldn't hang with him once the tires started wearing out, but I was driving completely wrong. I was trying to keep it on the bottom around the whole track, and that's not what he was doing. He was like kind of diamonding the center. So I tried doing that the second run and worked out a lot better. I could kind of hang with him and stay in front of him wherever I was there on that second run. And yeah, I got super confused with pit strategy, and I saw all of a sudden he wasn't racing like around us anymore. So I didn't know what happened to him. I didn't know if he like hit the wall or something. But I think he just tried short pitting. So I didn't really know what to do. So I saw a couple other guys pit, and we did that. I wasn't even thinking that anyone could make it on fuel. I think I was about 4 or 5 laps short, so I wasn't really trying to do that. But I mean, awesome win by Brandon. Uh, can't believe he was able to save that much fuel. So nice win by him.
Yeah, it was definitely entertaining to watch up here. So I know you had mentioned that once the tires kind of wore in a little bit, that it seemed like you couldn't really match pace with Blake. So that last run, was it like a conscious decision that you made to try to go for the overcut a little bit on him and wait later to pit? Because it looks like you were about 10 laps later on the last pit than he was. It worked out well for you. I mean, you finished pretty far in advance of him, both on the scoreboard and with the gap to him. So was that conscious? And was there ever any point with the pit cycles that you thought maybe I can stretch this to the end, or did you know you were going to have to make that extra stop at the end?
Yeah, I knew that I had to pit again. I just didn't want to do it too soon. I pretty much tried just splitting the run in half. So yeah, I feel like Blake pit maybe just a little bit too soon. I feel like when we caught up to him, kind of passed him really easily. But I mean, he got way out ahead of us. So I mean, it was definitely working for a while for him. But yeah, I mean, it's tough. I mean, I feel like it's really just one line around the track, And like I said, I was really just trying to learn. I mean, I was never really good here and could never figure it out on a long run at all. So I really did learn a lot from him, just running behind him. And Travis was behind me, and he told me what I was doing wrong and told me what to do. So it really worked out the second and third run there. So um, happy about that, and it was a lot of fun doing that. And racing, everyone on different pitch strategies. So there were guys who are racing that way slower and way faster on different sets of tires, so that's always a ton of fun, especially at a track like this. You feel like you're flying around the track at Dover with the banking. So all in all, definitely a lot of fun. Sucks to lose another here on pitch strategy tonight, but no, all in all, a lot of fun. And again, congrats to Brandon. I think this might be his first win, so it's always special.
Yeah, definitely. Well, good run tonight. I know you really wanted that one, especially with the wild card we got at the end of the round of 8 to set the championship for. Sure, you wanted to punch your ticket with that one, but good run tonight, man. You put on probably the move of the race with that restart where you took the lead on the outside. So, you got anyone you want to thank? Sponsor shout outs before we let you go?
Thanks, man. Yeah, well, want to thank you for putting on this broadcast for us. This is probably my favorite series to run, favorite car. So I always love going back and watching these. Want to thank all you guys for just putting on everything you do for us and letting us race with you a couple of times a week. It's a ton of fun. Thank Bubba's Bald Tire Outlet, Jeff Pye Jr. Art, Kinder Farm and Ranch, Flexible Freight Solutions, Dark Horse Motorsports, No Next Fast Repair, and Chuck Peg Leg Felts for helping us put this on.
All right. Well, I appreciate you, Andy. And again, good run tonight. And best of luck next week at Phoenix.
All right. Thanks, man. See ya.
Second place finisher Andy Kurtz come up a little bit short. He's about 7 seconds back, but had a great run. Just that pit strategy got him. Let's talk to our third place finisher, Michael Kostick. Michael, this Eddie and Daniel in the booth got a copy.
Yeah, I got you.
Man, a pretty good race out of you. You started 7th, finished 3rd. If Pollock didn't save the every bit of fuel he had, you would have come home in 2nd. But what else did you need maybe to get up there and get the lead? Was it just track position that you were missing tonight?
Yeah, I think it seemed tough to pass. You could kind of make moves in the first 3 to 5 laps on fresh tires, and then you kind of had to wait 20 laps into a run and just try to get a better run off. Besides that, it was kind of follow around.
Well, with that pit strategy, were you aware that anybody was going to try to save fuel? Was that something you ever considered? Was that in your, were you even thinking about that towards the end of that race?
I wasn't. I don't think I would have been able to save enough fuel. I think I was like 5 or 6 laps short. I seen a couple people were going to try it. I didn't know if they were going to be able to do it or not, but I mean, he was able to pull it off, so good for him.
Yeah, well, a great third place finish. I mean, you rack them off better than anybody else. I mean, what is the trick to being so consistent like you are? You talked about at the beginning of the race, you were back in 7th or so, and just kind of mentioned that he'll be at the front at some point. He always is. What is the key to doing that almost every single race like you do?
Um, Usually I just kind of hope for long runs and try to save some tires up. Try to stay out of trouble. Got in a little incident tonight, but luckily for fast repairs sometimes.
Well, I mean, you've got the best average finish out of anybody in the playoffs with 7th place. That is pretty damn good, if I say so myself. But the good points night. I mean, Andy's going to have just a few more points than you, but still a pretty good points night as we head down into the next couple of races. So, man, congratulations on 3rd place finish. I know you'd love to get that win, but this definitely helps in the bid for a championship. So, congratulations. And as always, man, who you got to thank? Sponsor shout outs.
Thank you guys for doing the broadcast. Brandon for the work he does for the series, and just teammates, Bandits.
All right. Well, there you have it. Michael Kostick, your 3rd place finisher. And man, Daniel, that was there's a lot going on there. That was a fun race. A lot happened, and at the end, just a big surprise as Brandon Pollock takes the win here. And it's so tough to show up every week and try to get these wins. And talk to a little bit about Brandon in that Grand National race about how he has definitely got the speed. He just got to figure out how to finish these races and not knock down the wall or spin out, make the little small mistakes that happen from time to time. And then here tonight, making the strategy call, doing what he needs to do to get the win, and just it takes such a load off his shoulders when you get a win like that, and it's got to feel amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know I've been in that position before where you show up, you feel like you got speed, you just feel like things don't go your way, whether it's self-inflicted strategy, bad timing on cautions, whatever it is. And it can get to be a bit of a mental drain after a while. So I know he's got to be absolutely thrilled. I'm happy for him that he won. He's somebody that shows up, races all lot of leagues that we have here. He's one of the quiet guys. Doesn't really, pipe up a whole lot with stuff except to give Brandon Wallace a hard time, which is always fun. But and more importantly, maybe even than that, when we were talking about the points in the playoff picture, we were talking about guys that wanted to lock in to that championship race, knowing that we've got that wild card at the end of this round. And then Brandon comes out here and takes this win from those guys, and none of them's locked in now going into Phoenix next week.
Yeah, that's a great point. So, some guys got some work to do. We'll go through the field real quick and see where everybody finished. You got it on the screen. Mickey Isaac recovers after that spin on the front stretch that involved Chuck Phelps as he locks the rear tires up and goes around. Comes back and finishes fourth. So fantastic. Did a little fuel saving of his own. Blake Kopp, man, great race up front all race long, and definitely was gonna be a contender for the win had the fuel strategy not worked out like it did, but still comes home in fifth. Great run by him. Alan Nash comes home in sixth. Jonathan Cofield, man, just it was odd. We talked about he was going to be up there at some point, but never quite got there. So odd to see that, but Cofield comes home in seventh. Brett Bieber in eighth. A great run for Chuck Phelps in ninth. That is a great run to help him in points. So fantastic run by him. Chris Reese, heartbreak, had the lead. He's going to try to save fuel. Almost got it done, but came up a lap and a half short. I think if he would have ran out, maybe a lap later, he would have been able to coast around maybe. But still came up short, but did able to coast around and get that top 10. Travis Bieber in 10th. Kyle Roberts in 11th. Kyle Roberts in chat saying, man, that was a blast. So finished 11th, the lap down, having fun, man. That's what this is all about. And but he's had a great finish. Jonah Colbert, not really sure what happened. If he had an issue at some point after that pit stop, but he comes home in 12th. Steve McDonald in 13th. 14th, Brandon Wallace. 15th, Tyler Rice. I think, Daniel, I think the biggest problem with those two is just the fact they stayed out on that one caution. I think that's really what did them in, and stayed out on those old tires, and they were behind from the rest of the race. So they finished 14th and 15th, and Aaron Adcock, after that incident, calls it quits. So he going to bring up the field in 17th. But yeah, closing thoughts, man. Just a great race at Dover. Not surprising, and really cool to see a fuel strategy race for once.
Yeah, definitely. That was that was one of the more entertaining races that I've watched in a while on iRacing. We had Andy and Blake putting on a show up front. Those two running each other really hard, really clean, putting on some good battles. And then with the fuel strategy at the end, I mean, you can't really ask for a whole lot more. You got really good racing the whole way around, a lot of fuel strategy and intrigue, and just, man, little something for everybody in that one.
Yeah, for sure. Let's go back and we'll watch it and see how the pass was made from Brandon Pollock's view. And you see Chris Reese there on the bottom of the track, and able to get around him as he's coming to the white flag. And that was your biggest move of the race for sure. If we gave out an award for that, that would win it. Well, all right. Well, thank you again, Daniel. Man, did a great job in the booth tonight. Makes it a lot easier on me to have somebody to talk while I click on things. So definitely appreciate you. Thank everybody for watching, everybody in chat. And as always, man, we'll see y'all next time. Come back Sunday night. We got Rebels Truck Series. I don't know where we're racing, but it's gonna be fun no matter what. So y'all have a good night. We'll see you later.